Yo, JD here, Limitless, and as you can see on F1 2020 as always, and this is going to be quite a different video. This is not a league race, but this is actually, I've got two races here today from the online lobbies that I've been doing recently, which I normally do a couple or few of these a week, so make sure you follow me on Twitter to check these out. And you can see we're starting on P18, and we're just going to be just talking over these races and just some discussions that I want to be raising, because a lot of people have been giving me advice recently, particularly from my China League Racing video, and I have to say, no matter how old you are and how experienced you are and how good you feel you are at the game, even if you're the esports champion or Formula 1 world champion, there are always things to learn, and that was a real eye-opener for me, that race. And I think ever since then I've really taken the advice that people have given me, and that is to just be more patient and just be more clean with my driving, because I would describe my driving style as being quite smooth, but in the heat of a moment when the red mist goes down or something doesn't go my way, I tend to overdrive a little bit and sometimes make overtakes and do things that I really shouldn't be doing and should really be left towards the latter part of the race, or no, just the very next corner. Sometimes I think I just get a little bit, as I said, just heated in the moment itself. So the advice really was to just be a lot more patient and let your consistency and pace that I feel I have on this game really do the talking afterwards. And that's what I've really tried to apply to myself, to just be much cleaner in wheel-to-wheel combat, and realizing that there's a long way to go in races. And ever since I've had that kind of mindset where I've really just kind of calmed down and just been a lot more patient, I've just instantly found that my results have just been so much better. Not just my results, but also just my mentality, which I think is probably the most important thing when you're competing in anything. Doesn't matter what sport or activity you're doing, if you have a good, relaxed, positive mindset, then you will normally perform better than you would if you were very agitated, on edge, and really overexcited a little bit. But yeah, I find since I've just been a lot more relaxed and patient, that I just found myself just enjoying the game much more, and still taking it seriously, because there are times to be aggressive and really be on it, but only doing that when it's necessary, if it makes sense. And you can just see here already, although we had a very good start, we've just been very calculated in how we've driven, and just constantly just thinking to myself that do I really need to be doing this kind of move now? And no, it's not just in terms of racecraft and overtaking, it's also in my use of the fuel and the overtake button as well, because I think it's quite easy as well to really overuse that. And see, backing off here because I thought I wasn't going to go through KJ's connections, is a little bit sketchy, but just all round just trying to slow everything down, because I think when you're a driver, I noticed myself obviously being an esports manager for Runner last year and now for Romeo this year, of the drivers we have, the caliber is absolutely insane. But although the drivers are probably a lot better than me, which is easy to say, it's very handy to have someone who is not driving just to tell you to calm down and to just point things in your direction that is very, very difficult to see as a driver, because as a driver everything feels like it's going a million miles per hour and there's no time to do anything at all. But you see, like this move here, I'm using the overtake now, but doing a clear, concise overtake. It's not a half-hearted move. This was a move that I knew I could make, and going through Marcus Beckers, he's still alongside me, but I'm leaving room on the inside as well, whereas in the past I really don't think I would have done that at all. And just making sure I do that, because I just feel having an all-round cleaner driving style just gives me a clearer mindset as well. And this race here, I think has been a good example of that. And we've got another race at Monza coming up after this, which again I think illustrates it even more. But we've gone to the back of KJ Gamer now, and you can see we've still got a lot of fuel, a lot of ERS to play with, and these are the things you just have to think about when you're in races. So even in 5-lap races as well, like I said in my tip video recently, like this here, in the past I probably would have gone for that move, but no, we've got the DRS zone coming up. I feel faster, I feel like I'm better on traction. Just wait instead, and that's the advice that people have given to me, and I just again have to say thank you so much for that, because it really has helped me. He's defending around the inside, so I decided to go right round the outside, and no, this isn't a half-hearted move, this is a very committed move, and going down the inside and getting the position done. And again, just making sure when I do overtakes in future that I know it's fully on, it's not a second guess, it's just a fully committed move. And I think that's the thing that I've really enjoyed about this game. I've just been a lot more committed and a lot more aggressive, particularly in qualifying trim. I've been a lot more aggressive with the car, and I haven't been second guessing myself. And I think if anything, it needs to be the race pace and racecraft that need to go into that sort of level, and that's what I'm really trying hard to do at the moment. And as I said, after that China race, I've had a very long, hard think. Although, you know, it's not a league race, so it's not too serious, but you know, I love competing against people. I love winning, and I just want to improve myself every single day, because as I said, no matter how good you are and how experienced you are, there is always room for improvement. So patience equals better results, 1,000,000%. And if you need to be aggressive, make sure you do it in the moment where you know that it's on, that it's acceptable to do so. Or no, last couple laps of the race or last lap attempt, then sure. But if you've got 4 laps of the race or you've got 20 laps to go, then you really got to think a bit more of the long game. And it's much easier said than done until you go over your previous footage. If you do record, you know, you can really learn a lot of things, and you can learn a lot of things from people who are not as good as you, who are not faster than you, but just having that third person view of someone else, or just having a second opinion. Now, I respect everyone's opinion, no matter how experienced they are, so it is incredibly useful to have. And you can just see here, the tactic I've been using is just not to use the ERS until I absolutely need to use it. So I didn't really use it in the first or second sector, but now here I've started to use it, and you can see, no, he didn't get really within half a second of me. Now, I want to win the race by a big distance, of course, but it's about winning. Winning is winning. If you win by a 10th or you win by 10 seconds, you still get the same points. It's still the same result. And I'm just tactically using it at the right time to benefit myself. And coming across the line, we finish the race and we get the W from P18 on the grid. So yeah, that was a very good one. And I just feel, again, just the little tweaks to my style have just really benefited me. But we're going to move on to Monza now, and this is another very good example. This is a second race in this lobby, and let me know if you like these kind of videos where I put 2 or 3 races together from my online experiences with a little mini championships to do. But we're starting in P4 as the lights go out now, trying to get a good start here. We get a very good launch as the Ferrari had just don't know what he's doing. He's just gone off completely. But we've gone into second place here. Again, trying to avoid the contact, leaving plenty of room on the inside, just being very cautious of that. Just trying to, what I'm trying to do is just really drill into my head to just not be as overly aggressive. That's something I'm just really trying to be conscious of now. And we're actually using default setups here, so they're not custom setups, they're just the preset ones. The guy's using preset 4, so everyone is using a default setup. They just have the option of the 3 or 4 presets they want to use. But now, got into second place, got this guy in the Renault out ahead of me, AMS Thomas behind me. He's gone slightly out wide. But this situation here, right here now, is quite annoying because I don't really want to overtake him, but I have to use the overtake because the Racing Point is using the overtake, and that kind of puts me in a vulnerable position. And again, just trying to avoid contact at all costs. He goes out wide, and you'll be able to see here, the guys are behind are using overtake. I'm not using overtake at all because I'm just thinking of the long game. I'm just thinking about conserving my ERS as much as I can, because it's actually, it's not too bad to save it around here, but I always try and aim to have about 50% for a last 2 laps of a race, because that will enable you to really defend very well. And I'll be doing a video on it soon, but the overtake button is just so powerful. It's always better to have it and then not to have it. And again, trying to leave plenty of room going through these first 2 turns, as we do that pretty successfully. But I think you're about to see again the racing point using overtake. I use a little bit of the overtake, but trying to avoid it at all costs. And I don't think he's going to go down the inside. He's not going to be close enough to go into chicane. This is still a pretty hard chicane, but definitely not as bad as it was on the previous game. On the previous game, it just felt really, really inconsistent through here. But now the aim is just to be consistent, not to get any penalties or anything of any sort. And you can see again, not using the overtake button, only when I have to use it. And you can see, still not using it at all, going through into Skyrim, and that is a warning. So that is the first warning. Still pretty brutal there, but luckily the curbs are not as bad as they were in the previous game. This game overall, I said that before, is just much smoother, just a much flatter and smoother experience, which I very, very much prefer. So coming off Parabolica, trying to get a good run here, and once again, not using the overtake here, because I don't really mind him overtaking me at this point in the race, because we still have quite a big gap to the two Ferraris behind. So again, always just trying to be aware of where everyone else is on track. But we're going to still try and go around the outside into here, as we do pretty nicely. You can see the neutral for that extra rotation is still exists in the game. I'm kidding, it doesn't really still exist, but it's still nice to go into neutral for that little extra rotation in your mind anyway. And again, like I did on lap 1, having to use the overtake just to protect myself from the car behind. We lock up a little bit through here. It's quite easy to lock up through here, and the Ferrari's got a big run with me. I'm using the overtake to try and defend. I try and hold it around the outside as I just about do it, and now I'm going to have the DRS, so I shouldn't really have to use the overtake here. So again, I'm just thinking of the last couple of laps. You really don't want to be in front really on this penultimate lap. It's really going into the last lap you want to do it. So I'm very, very happy just to sit behind, avoiding that inside curb this time, because I don't want to get another warning. And we've got a decent gap behind. And let's see what the slipstream is like. On this game, I think the slipstream is really non-existent. The DRS is nowhere near as powerful as last game as well. So you really have to be tucked up behind someone. And that's why, again, it is just so important to save that overtake button. Referring back to the point of having patience, it's not just your racecraft, it's about patience and just using the tools you have available with the fuel and the overtake button. It is so important, because people just, especially in 5-lap races where people are not league racers, they will just use overtake at any opportunity they have a run at someone. They will just use it, and they don't think about the last couple of laps of the race. And that's the key. That's the key to winning a race, of having a good average pace, having a very good pace without the ERS, and then just making sure you harvest it and deploy it at the right time in the race. So this penultimate lap, I'm very, very happy to sit behind, not looking to overtake at all here. So coming off this corner, you can see he's got a little bit of a gap, and I think he is using the overtake, but I am not using the overtake at all. As I said, I really want to make sure I have over about 50% going into the last lap. So trying to get a good run through here, but we actually go a little bit deep and a little bit of understeer through the dirty air. And you can see he's got a big gap again, but I'm still not using this overtake, because I like to bait people into themselves actually using it, because I want him to think that he can get away from me. So coming off this last corner, I'm probably going to use it now. They have a good little bit of a good run, but he runs out very, very wide out of the exit of Parabolica, and you can just see the power we have of the overtake. Because I've saved so much of it, we've got such a good run going into this turn 1, and we're going to outbrake him, going round the outside to try and get the inside once again, but the angle is too tight, and we didn't push him off the track. But now the Ferrari has come out of absolutely nowhere. In fact, he's got a very, very good run on me, but since we have so much ERS, we are going to go down the inside into the end of the first sector, and there is nothing that he can do, leaving some room on the inside still, but we just about get the move done. And now they are going side by side, and I still have over 70% of ERS and quite a lot of the deployment bar left for the rest of this race. So coming off this corner, trying to get a really good exit, and again trying to avoid the overtake as much as possible, but I do use a little bit, and I'll probably come off it pretty quickly before the bridge, which I do. Coming through Ascari, crucial that I get a good run this time, and that was a very, very nice run here. Go completely flat out for the left-hander, and now I'm going to use the rest of my ERS, and you can just see again that he has definitely not saved the same amount, because we are pulling away and coming through this last corner, as long as I don't go off track, this should be the second win in a row. And just showing again, having the patience really is key to having some good results, and that is what I've applied in my most recent league races. I really hope you like this video. Thought it would just be more of a discussion and just a bit of an insight into things. Let me know if you want me to do more of these. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and I will catch you very, very again soon. Peace.